What's going on, guys, and welcome back. Welcome to another stimulus check update, infrastructure package update, and daily news report for Thursday, May 6th. So today, the new jobless claims actually came out. They came in at 498,000 as opposed to roughly 529,000. So there was about a 30,000 person drop, which was better than expected. We also know that Social Security beneficiaries are now being urged to file their federal income taxes for 2020 in order to claim their missing stimulus checks. We also know progressives say that stimulus checks should now be considered essential, just like unemployment insurance. We know lawmakers say that 4 years of the expanded child tax credit is just not enough, and they are pushing to make this a permanent fixture. The federal judge has overturned the federal eviction ban, now leaving millions of Americans at risk of becoming evicted. President Biden has given his support behind waiving the intellectual property rights or protections for the COVID vaccines, and progressives are now talking even more about the $15 minimum wage and how it is needed at this time. So hopefully you guys have a wonderful Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon. If you can, go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Now, let's get into the update. First, the new jobless claims came in stronger than expected, and this is actually a good thing, but it could be bad as well. The good sign right now is that the economy is coming back. It is starting to recover a little bit quicker than some people anticipated. However, experts do say that the U.S. should brace for another wave of COVID cases during the month of May. They say this because even though all signs show that we are currently progressing and things are getting better, some say that the problem is when people are traveling, people are getting together with friends and family, and not as many people are getting the vaccine as previously. This is where the problem actually occurs. So, this is why there's both good and bad news regarding a stronger economic recovery. The good news is that we're well on our way to getting back to normalcy. That's the good news. That's what everybody wants. The bad news, though, is that with the stronger economy comes less of a chance of seeing any additional relief out of Congress. And for those of you that are currently struggling to just get back on your feet, and I get it, you're not looking for more handouts to get you to become a millionaire or a billionaire. That's not what you want. You just want your life back to the way it once was. That's what everybody wants. And so right now, it may be harder, according to experts, it may be harder to come by to get additional relief out of Congress if we see not just today, obviously the new jobless claims, but tomorrow is when the new unemployment numbers are going to come out. So tomorrow, that could be a pretty big indication as to how much relief the American people might get out of Congress. Right now, Republicans are not really proposing anything for additional relief. They just don't want to propose it because they say we've already received all the relief we need. We just need to see it go throughout the economy. But we got Democrats that say, no, we do need additional relief because we have to provide for the American people. And right now, the amount of money that was sent out was just not enough. But it's in times like these where some departments are coming out and trying to, help and try to provide additional assistance to the American people. For instance, just the other day, the SSI came out and provided an announcement and said all Social Security beneficiaries need to go and file their taxes. They need to go and file their 2020 taxes. Now, here's what you need to understand. Even though you may not have any income, or maybe you know somebody that has absolutely no income or falls under the threshold and doesn't need to actually file. If that's the case, the Social Security Administration is still saying you should file and you should do this because this would now mean the IRS has your information on file, which would be a good thing is what they're saying. Here's what we know. If you didn't get the $1,200 stimulus check or the $600 stimulus check, you have to go and file your 2020 taxes, and then the IRS can send you the additional $1,800. We also know that if you file early, if you file soon, okay, and the IRS gets your information on file, and what you need to do is you need to e-file, do not paper file. That will take forever, okay, e-file. And when you do, the IRS will now have your information, which if they didn't already, they can go and send you that $1,400 stimulus check. So again, you may go from getting absolutely nothing and not filing your taxes to filing your taxes, and instead of just getting the $1,200 and $600, you also get that $1,400. So you could potentially be getting about $3,200 in stimulus just by filing your taxes. So that's actually pretty good. One thing that we have heard from multiple progressives over this past week, though, is they want to see additional relief. Okay? They want to see people on Social Security need more relief. Right now, we're seeing inflation. It is crazy. The cost of meat, the cost of gas, the cost of homes, cars, anything. Clothing is kind of, right there where it's been, but in some cases, it's even cheaper. But everything else is more expensive. And so right now, progressives are saying we need to see additional stimulus. We need to see additional relief go out to the American people. And they are pushing for people on Social Security to get more assistance. However, at this time, they are saying the best way to do it is just a blanket approach, additional stimulus check, provide for every single person out there. Now, here's what one progressive is saying is that right now, additional stimulus checks should be considered essential, just like unemployment insurance is. However, at this time, we are seeing that many lawmakers are actually considering letting the unemployment benefits expire on September 6th. They want to see this expire because then it's going to actually open the door for businesses to go and hire all their employees back, and that's when we're going to see a full economic recovery. But at the same time, we're getting reports from Congress saying that there's no evidence whatsoever that the reason why we aren't recovering as quickly as possible is because employers do not have the employees to go and hire back because the federal unemployment benefits are just too strong. So there's issues on both sides. So right now, what we're seeing is Congress is just toying with the American people. Congress has no clue what to do. They don't have a clue what to do. And the only way we're ever going to figure out which way is the best way to go, which is the best path, is to take one of those paths, figure out, okay, is this right or is this wrong? And if it's wrong, we switch directions and we change, we pivot. That's the only way. That is exactly what economists are saying, is that the only way this is going to work is we have to decide, we have to make a decision. But if we just keep prolonging the unemployment benefits for months at $300 per week as a boost, in addition to getting your state benefits, in addition to also getting, some people are getting subsidized health care, okay? All these things are actually making it harder for some businesses to even open up. Restaurants are finding it very difficult to hire their employees back because why would they come back and make $2 and whatever it is as a tipped salary or tipped wages when, as a tipped employee, whatever you want to call it, right? Why would they come do that when they can guarantee they're going to make at least $300 every single week from the boost, plus let's say $150 from their state benefits? So every single week, $450 versus I come into work, potentially contract COVID, and then, well, I'm going to get paid, $2 and 15 cents or whatever it is plus tips. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to stay home and collect unemployment. So that's where restaurants are having a very difficult time as well. Now, one thing that we do know right now is that Congress is having a tough time figuring anything out. They can't decide, within themselves, within their own party, what needs to be in this next infrastructure bill. They can't decide between, Democrats and Republicans what should be in this bill and how they're going to get this paid for. Nobody really knows. But one thing that Congress does plan on doing, and this is something that does have bipartisan support, is they do plan on extending that child tax credit for an additional 4 years. However, President Biden has said he wants to see this expanded for 4 years until 2025, which is great. But reports yesterday indicate that as of right now, what is actually hoping to get done is that Congress will pass this. They will entice the American people to have more children, but at the same time, Congress is going to look at how 2021 does. Does it pull more children out of poverty? If it does, then possibly extending not just 4 years, but making this a permanent tax fixture. Another report that came out late last night is actually stating that it wasn't just about having more children. Okay, this isn't the end goal for the child tax credit. That's one theory, that's one possibility, but that's not the overall consensus among lawmakers. Right now, what this provision is trying to do, according to the Washington Post, is this is trying to promote equality in America. So, by providing this child tax credit, it would cut the child poverty rate in half. Okay, it would cut it in half. This would also greatly reduce the poverty rate amongst Black and brown families as well. And it would provide stability to families that previously didn't have it. That is what the Washington Post is saying, that right now it's about equality. But then there was a report the other day that says, no, the child tax credit was more about just enticing the American people to have children. Because right now we're seeing a slow in the growth. We're not having as many people, come into the United States. Well, President Biden is going to change that. He increased the refugee cap. That should increase things quite a bit. So we will see what happens there. Lawmakers say that this is not just a 4-year plan. We cannot just provide 4 years of assistance. This is going to continue to be a problem in 2025. So lawmakers say that we are going to see how this plan works over the next couple of years and then possibly make it a permanent fixture. So as we get more information there, I promise I will fill you in on all those details as well. Now, I do have some more information regarding the child tax credit that I actually missed in one of my previous, updates. So I want to fill you in on all that. First off, I stated that anybody under the age of 17 is going to get the child tax credit. Everybody else will just be completely left out. And that is not 100% true. I want to be very clear how this works. So any child between 0 and 5 in 2021, 0 and 5, will get a $3,600 child tax credit. Any child between 6 and 17, for the year of 2021 is going to get a $3,000 child tax credit. Anybody the age of 18 years old by December 31st of 2021 is going to get a $500 child tax credit, and anybody but under the age of 24 but is a full-time college student is going to get $500 as well. So I just wanted to make sure you had all that information because I know I missed it on the last one, and I wanted to correct this and clarify exactly who is going to get some of this child tax credit, because I know there's been a lot of reports that no, that it's not a $3,600 child tax credit, it's only a $500 child tax credit. Well, there's $500, it's $3,000, and it's $3,600. So it just depends on how old you are and if you are currently in school. So some other major news that actually came out late last night is a federal judge has overturned the national eviction ban. This is big, This is big because for a while, I know a lot of people have been really worried and scared that they're just going to be kicked out of their home. Well, this is actually only going to allow landlords to evict tenants if the landlord has sued the tenants already. So it's a very specific group of people that can become evicted. If you have been issued a lawsuit, if you've been served, then chances are, yes, you could become evicted under this new ruling. But if you haven't been sued, then you should have nothing to worry about at this time. The news of overturning the eviction ban had many people scared. I got a few comments this morning on this, so I wanted to address this. And chances are you will not be kicked out of your home, but this does open the door to possibly becoming evicted if you did get sued in the past. So, again, right now there's about 1 in every 5 renters are currently behind on their rent. So this could turn into a huge problem. But this is most likely something that lawmakers are going to address. There's currently a housing shortage. So kicking somebody out of their home where they currently live and making them go somewhere else where there's a housing shortage is going to make things almost impossible. So it's going to make things worse. And so this is why some experts are saying that's not fair that you're just going to be kicked out of your home. But other experts say that's not fair to have landlords footing the bill for tenants to live rent-free without even attempting to pay whatever they can afford. And so we'll see what happens there. The ruling just came out yesterday, so I'm sure we're going to get more updates on it later on today, tomorrow, and possibly over the weekend as well. Another big thing that actually came out yesterday as well is that President Biden actually does support waiving the IP protection for the COVID vaccines. This will allow other countries to get the vaccines that they need to reach their herd immunity, just like the United States is attempting to do as well. We know that wealthier nations are roughly 80% vaccinated at this time, while low-income countries are less than 1% vaccinated. That's a huge difference. 79%. That is a huge gap. Lawmakers say that if we want to get back to normalcy, if we want to get there sooner rather than later, we have to invest in other countries as well. So most lawmakers do support and back President Biden's decision. Yesterday, we also started getting more talks on the $15 minimum wage. Lawmakers say that the reason why the economy is struggling and not recovering as quickly as many people expected is because employers can't get their employees back. One of the reasons why is because employers are not paying enough money. Just this morning or last night, I don't remember exactly when, but shareholders of Denny's actually want the Denny's franchise to provide a $15 minimum wage minimum. Okay, so that is where that's where they're going to start, and so that could be interesting. We'll see what happens there. We also know Costco, they pay over, I think it's like $16 per hour. There's other companies as well that provide a pretty good livable wage as well. And so they're kind of seen as the standard and trying to bring everybody else up to them. We'll see what happens there. What I can tell you is that right now lawmakers say that if all companies had a $15 minimum wage, there would be no issue with the $300 per week federal unemployment boost. There'd be no issue there because that would just be peanuts compared to what they would actually be getting. So again, I don't know exactly what you earn or where you live or anything like that, but just understand if we do see an increase in the minimum wage, it's probably not going to be to $15 per hour instantly. It'll probably go to somewhere around $9 to maybe $10, but past that, it's really going to do very little. So in the long run, this is what lawmakers are discussing: is could we lower the weekly benefit from $300 per week? Let's say we lower that down to like $100 or $200. Would that potentially be that tipping point to get people to go back to work? Well, the only way to actually figure that out is to do it and try. So we will see what happens there. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. If you could, go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.